I spent my Christmas break deep sea fishing off the coast of Cabo San Lucas in the Sea of Cortez. I caught a 45-pound mahi-mahi. They call him Dorado down there. The guys leading the fishing trip said it was the biggest one they'd ever seen. Don't believe me? Look at this picture. That's me holding a big-ass fish. And, you know, invasions in Elden Ring are just kind of like fishing. You cast out your line, you never know what you're gonna get, if you're gonna hook a big one. This is a stupid build. It's not, you couldn't even call it a build. It's a level 1 character, and it's just whatever I could cram onto a guy who's level 1. So, you know, we got the Flame of Frenzy. We got a broadsword. We got a halberd. We got +1 weapons. I just mainly wanted to see if you could do invasions at level 1. Like if you would get anything at all. And surprisingly, it's a lot of fun. But like I said, these invasions in Elden Ring, they're a lot like fishing. There's a lot of things that you can take from fishing and you can apply it to the world of Elden Ring invasions. So I am going to share that wisdom with you in these videos. The wisdom of the fisherman applied to the keen blade of the invader. So sometimes when you're doing these invasions, you don't catch a big one. You're not going to snag a big, you're not catching a marlin or anything like that. It's these little guys. You just sneak right up on them. They don't even know you're there. We caught a bunch of bait fish while I was out there, and you just, you put the bait fish on your line and you use them as bait for the bigger fish. But you just got to take your chances. You cast your line out behind the boat, trawling around on the open ocean. I really don't know how much mileage I'm going to get out of this metaphor, but here's a clip of me knocking a guy off of a tower with the hand ballista, because I thought it was funny. If I drink my physic, it's got like the strength knot tier in there. I've got the scar seal, so I have the required strength if I drink the physic to use the hand ballista, which can lead to some very funny things. And I spent all the runes that I got from that big Bubba who gave me like 100,000 runes in that last clip. Just spent it all on explosive great bolts. But just like in fishing, in Elden Ring invasions, you cannot underestimate your opponent. That's what I did here. I knew what he had. I knew he had he had the Radon swords. I knew he was going to be using that Ash of War, and I got cocky. I thought that I could outrun him, that I could outspace him, but in the end, sometimes you catch the fish, and sometimes the fish catch you. Here's another thing that you can apply from fishing into Elden Ring invasions. You gotta trust your gear. When you snag something huge, when you got like a 45 pound fish on the line, your rod's gonna bend. It's gonna be bending and snapping and flipping around, but you gotta trust it. You gotta trust that it's gonna hold, that your line's gonna hold, that your hook's gonna hold, and you gotta trust your gear in Elden Ring invasions when you're level 1 and you really don't have anything at all aside from a couple of incantations and a sword that you can swing at people, but most importantly, you've got a shield with parry on it. And that parry is your best friend. You gotta just commit to it and trust it and trust the process. I cut a bunch out of this invasion because these guys just did not want to fight me. They just wanted to hang back and throw kukris at me. What are the ones that do bleed damage? The little knives that do bleed damage. That's all they wanted to do. You run into a surprising amount of guys just using katanas at this low level, which I get. Katanas are amazing, but they're not my favorite. Here's another lesson for you from the world of fishing into the world of Elden Ring Invasions. So when I hooked that like 40-pound fish, it took probably an hour to reel it in. And you'd reel and reel and reel, and you'd pull it tight, and you'd keep up the tension. That was what everybody in the boat was telling me to do. I had never gone deep sea fishing before. So I was getting a lot of pointers from the other boys in the boat, and they said, you gotta keep the tension up. So that fish is gonna swim. Sometimes it'll swim towards the boat, sometimes it'll run and swim away from the boat, but you gotta keep the tension no matter what. Reel in the slack if there's any slack, but sometimes that fish is just gonna run. You're gonna haul it in, it's gonna be close to the boat, but it's gonna see that boat and it's gonna freak out because it knows what a boat means. And this fish, I think that it had a couple of hooks in it before, if you know what I mean. I don't think this was his first rodeo. And sometimes they just run, and you gotta let them run. If you fight it too hard, and if you want it too much, and if you don't give them an inch, that's how you lose the fish. You're gonna tire yourself out, you're gonna make mistakes. So, you get the fish close to the boat, you can see it, it's almost in, then it takes off again. You see that line spooling out. Sometimes you just gotta let them run. It's the same in Invasions. If you want it too bad, and if you commit to a fight that you shouldn't be committing to, you're gonna lose that invasion. So if people are gonna run, hey, that's fine. Let them run, Worst case scenario, they go fight the area boss, you disconnect, it's all good. 9 times out of 10, though, what I have seen is that if people run in Invasions, they're not running towards the boss. They're not running towards a fog wall or something like that. They're running because they're trying to summon somebody. They're trying to summon their buddy. They're calling the cops. They're calling the blues. So just let them run, Sometimes you give them a little bit of slack. Hit that phantom finger. You don't see me doing that too much in these Invasions because if you use the phantom fingers, the scaling on co-opers goes away. So this guy, right, that you see in front of me, he's got the co-op classic set on. He's got Radahn's armor. He's rocking a moon veil. If I used that phantom recusant finger to reposition myself or to get out of a sticky situation, he would be at his full strength, which I'm guessing is not level 1 through 10 or whatever my invasion range is right now. I'm guessing this guy is he's got max weapons, or he's kind of at an end game level, 100, 90 to 100, 110, something like that. So I don't use those really in these Invasions. As far as the setup goes here with my stuff, I'm wearing this commoner's garb, not because I think it looks cool, but I do think it looks kind of cool. It's a neat piece. You don't see too many people rocking it, but because this chest armor raises your faith by 1. So with the +5 faith from the Scar Seal, with my base faith at 10, plus the 1 that I'm getting from the Commoner's Garb, I can use Flame of Frenzy at level 1 because it requires 16 faith. So I gotta keep that chest piece on. The rest of it is just stuff I got from the Exile Soldiers in Stormvale. I got the full set when I was just trying to find the Commoner's Garb, because there's some Commoners kind of up in that side route, up in that tower that throw the fire bombs at you. Anyways, what am I saying? Another funny thing about level 1 invasions. A lot of the times, like I said, the people who are co-oping at this level are themselves probably level 100, 90, 110, something like that. But because they're scaled down, you'll see people in these ridiculous endgame setups who are terrified of the base enemies in Limgrave. I just tried to lead those guys up to the Caden camp that's up there, and they just booked it. They were not having it. They did not want to be there because of that scaling. And that's just so basically it's fair for invaders, a little bit more fair than it would be. You don't want to be with base stats at level 1 going up against somebody who is in end game gear. But you gotta let the fish run sometimes, and more than anything, it's a psychological game. You're stronger than a fish. Like, if you're a fully grown adult human, you have more endurance and more muscle mass than most fish in the ocean. So it's not a question of whether or not you can haul that fish up into a boat. You can do it if you get them close enough, right? You hook them with a little spear or something, drag them in the boat, it's no problem. It's a mental endurance game. That fish is trying to wear you out physically and psychologically. They'll get a little close to the boat, then they run away. Then they get close to the boat, then they run away again. Same thing with invasions. You gotta be psychologically stronger than your opponents. You can't let them get into your head. And you gotta be patient. You know, you do a little bit of damage, hit a couple of R1s, they run away. That's fine. That's fine. Let them run. Bust out the hand ballista, toss a couple of bolts their way. Look at that, from downtown. We love to see it. But this is why people lose invasions. They get greedy, they want it too bad, they play sloppy, they make mistakes. It's because the host and the co-opers have gotten inside their head. But you can just hang back, right? Let the line run a little bit. You got plenty of line. You got miles of open ocean. Just let them run. They'll tire themselves out. Make them play sloppy before you play sloppy. And you can see that in this clip here. Because this guy, he wants it too bad. He's got his blue. He's feeling confident, you know? He doesn't understand what I have in store for him. How much more can I talk about fish? I don't know. It was fun. It was a good time. Catching fish. Man versus beast. These guys, again, just not wanting to engage. Not very excited about the prospect of fighting me because they just saw what happened to their buddy. But again, you apply a little bit of pressure, you can get people to start rethinking their perspective, rethinking their moves. And this guy's at a FP. You see him do the little wand thing, the little, scratch the head, shake the wand. He doesn't know what's up. He doesn't know what he's doing. You get the panic rolls going. You get people thinking about their mortality. And baby, it's over. Last one here. You get a lot of invasions in Stormvale Castle when you are level 1, and it's fun. This is one of my favorite places to invade, because as you can see here from this fight that we are about to engage in, you can let people just run in circles. You can just run them in circles. There's somebody outside my house shouting. I don't know who that is. Anyways, you drop down into the basement, and then you just take them for a little walk. Put a leash on them, take them for a walk, let them stretch their legs out a little bit. Then you do a little turn and burn, a literal turn and burn with the Flame of Frenzy. And I do this, I think, like 7 or 8 times in this clip, and they fall for it every time. Remember, you're smarter than the fish. You're stronger than the fish. You got more endurance than the fish. And you can just let them tire themselves out. That's all you gotta do. Just let them tire themselves out. Because eventually, you're gonna get the upper hand. I was fishing for a parry in this last section here because I wanted to get one more clip for that, what I showed you at the very beginning, all those parries. I spent probably an hour and a half trying to invade and just get a parry. Any parry. I didn't even have to win. I just wanted a parry. I just wanted to parry somebody. Look at me. Just... Look at this. I'm just whiffing. I just wanted it too bad. Anyways, level 1 invasions are fun. You should try them. The lower the level, I find, the more enjoyable the invasion. Meta level, it's kind of garbage. And I mean, at level 1, you still see everybody using the same gear, but at least, like, the environments are a little bit more interesting. 120, meta level, you're just kind of, you're invading boss fog walls. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. And I've definitely had more fun with the lower level invasions in this game. And baby, this is the lowest level it can get. Look at this. I'm going to do it one more time to him. Or to myself. Just round and round in circles. That's all we're doing here. You just go up the stairs, you go down the stairs. And you hope that one of them is going to fall off. Let's do it one more time. It works every time. Alright, that's all I got.